The tech job market has just hit rock bottom. Unemployment rates have hit 4% for the first time in years. 134,000 tech jobs vanished in a single month, with tech giants like Amazon, Accenture, and Verizon being responsible for laying off thousands of them in the last 2 months. And if you're looking for an entry-level role, I'm sure you've seen all the headlines. The worst part is, it doesn't seem like any of these jobs are coming back anytime soon. Companies are changing the way they build teams, and you need to know exactly how if you want to survive in this market. So here's what's changed. Nobody wants to admit this, but those 134,000 jobs, a lot of them aren't coming back, not because the economy is going to be this terrible forever, but because companies are fundamentally changing how they think about building teams. So let me break down exactly what's happening, because the headlines are missing the real story here. First, AI changed the productivity equation. Companies are realizing that a team of 10 people with AI tools can now do what used to take 15 people. Now, I'm not saying that AI is replacing everyone, but what I am seeing is companies asking the question, do we really need to backfill that role, or can we just redistribute that work differently? Second, the remote work experiment has ended. Between 2020 and 2022, companies hired aggressively because they could hire anywhere. No geographic limitations meant that they could scale fast. But now they are realizing that they are overextended. They hired for a remote-first world that a lot of executives don't actually agree with long-term. So they're not just laying people off, they are restructuring entire teams around hybrid or in-office models. Third, the hire fast, figure it out later mentality is so dead. During the boom years of 2020 to 2022, tech companies were hiring based on potential. So junior roles, bootcamp grads, people without traditional CS degrees, everyone got a shot. Now they want proof. They want people who can contribute from day one. So the training budget basically just doesn't exist anymore. And here's the part that will affect you most directly. Companies are hiring differently now. They're not posting jobs and waiting for applications anymore. They are going directly to their networks first. They're asking employees for referrals. They're reaching out to people who have visibility on LinkedIn. The application black hole that you've been experiencing is not just a glitch. This is the new reality. So I'm about to tell you something that is going to sound really harsh, but you need to hear it. In this market, being qualified just isn't enough anymore. I know that sounds frustrating. I know that you've spent years building skills. Maybe you went to a great school. Maybe you have an impressive resume, but employers right now are operating from a position of abundance. So for every role they post, they're getting hundreds of applications. Here is what they are actually looking for, and this is what has changed. First, they want people that they already feel like they already know. When a recruiter has 500 resumes to review, you know who stands out? The person whose name they recognize. The person that they have seen posting thoughtful content consistently. The person who showed up in their feed 3 times last week, sharing insights about the exact problems their team is trying to solve. They want proof that you can do the job and not just that you're trainable. Companies aren't investing in training anymore. They want somebody who's already building those projects, already has an impressive portfolio, already has receipts that they can execute. Next, they want people who understand how to work alongside AI and not in spite of it. Here's something that I'm seeing in job descriptions that I never saw 2-3 years ago. Experience with AI tools is showing up everywhere, doesn't matter what type of role. They don't want people who are threatened by AI. They want people who know how to be 10x more productive because of AI. The most important shift, they want to hire people who come through referrals or inbound interest, not just cold applications. This was true back in 2020 to 2022 period, but now more so than ever. I know what you're thinking. Great, Megan, so if I don't already have a network, then am I screwed? No, that's actually the opposite of what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is that the old strategy of polishing your resume, applying to 100 jobs, waiting for responses, that strategy doesn't work in this reality anymore. You need a completely different approach. And the good news here, though, is that this new approach is actually more in your control than the old way ever was. First things first, we need to talk about the mindset shift that has to happen here if you are going to survive in this job market. You need to stop thinking like a job seeker. Start thinking like somebody who's already employed by yourself. Right now, if you are unemployed or you're looking to switch jobs, you probably feel like you're in this passive waiting state. You are waiting for someone to give you permission to prove yourself. You're waiting for an interview, a shot. You're waiting for a callback. That mindset will destroy you in this market because the waiting game is brutal right now. Instead, I want you to start treating your job search like you're already running a business, and that business is you. Your product is your skills and expertise. Your marketing is your LinkedIn presence. Your sales process is your networking and outreach. When I got laid off 3 years ago, I could have spent 6 months applying to jobs and hoping. Instead, I decided to act like I was already employed. I created content, I built relationships, I demonstrated my expertise publicly, and you know what happened? The opportunities started coming to me. I didn't find my next career move through an application, it found me. So here is the tactical mindset shift you need to have. Every single week, ask yourself, what did I do this week to make myself more findable? Not how many applications did I send, not how many job postings did I scroll through, but rather what did I create, who did I connect with, where did I show up publicly? You are not going to out-apply the competition. There are just too many qualified people applying to too few roles. You can absolutely out-position yourself. You can make yourself the first person that recruiters think of. So let me give you a concrete example. One of the students that I have been working with, we'll call her Jessica, was applying for data analyst roles for 4 months with zero traction. I told her for the next 30 days, I want you to spend half the time that you are currently spending on applications and spend it creating LinkedIn posts instead. She thought I was so crazy. She was like, I need a job. I'm not trying to be an influencer. I don't have time for that. But here's what happened. She listened to me, and 3 weeks in, a hiring manager at a fintech company commented on one of her posts. They started a conversation in her DMs, and 2 weeks later, she landed an interview. A week after that, she had an offer. Now, that's not a unicorn story. That is the pattern that I'm seeing work consistently in this job market. Now, to be completely transparent, this approach is going to take longer than you want it to. If you start building your visibility today, you're probably not going to have a job offer by next week. This is a 3 to 6 month strategy, not a 3 to 6 day strategy. When you build visibility and relationships, you are creating compound career opportunities, right? Every post, every connection, every conversation, they all stack up on each other. So 6 months from now, you won't just have one opportunity, you'll probably have multiple. Versus the old approach where you're starting from zero every single time you need to job search. Accept that this is going to take a minute, but also accept that you have way more control over your outcomes this way when you stop waiting for permission and start building visibility actively. Now let's talk about how you actually apply for jobs in this market. I know I bashed on job applications in the last tip, but inevitably it is going to be part of your overall strategy, so I'm going to address it. I'm not telling you to stop applying entirely. I'm telling you to apply smarter. Now, this application strategy is what I call the targeted 20 over the spray and pray 200. Instead of applying to 200 jobs with a generic resume and hoping something sticks, I want you to identify 20 companies where you actually want to work. So here's the framework. In step 1, you're going to create that target 20 list. These are companies where you genuinely want to work, not just any company that has an opening. And why 20? Because it's enough to give you options, but few enough that you can actually do the deep work for each one. Step 2, you're going to research the hell out of each one. I'm talking about going way beyond just looking at the careers page. I want you to find 3 to 5 people who work there in roles adjacent to what you want. Read their last 10 LinkedIn posts to understand what problems they're solving. Find recent company news, product launches, challenges they're facing. Look up the hiring manager if the role is posted, or find who leads the team you want to join. Now, this is not going to be a fast process. This might take you 2 to 3 hours per company, but that is the point. So then step 3, you want to customize everything. Your resume for that company should reference their specific tech stack, their actual challenges, their real projects, and then your cover letter, yes, you are going to be writing cover letters now, should show that you have done your homework. But step 4 is the important part. You don't just want to apply, you want to create a reason for them to know your name first. Before you even submit that application, I want you to engage with people at that company on LinkedIn, comment thoughtfully on their posts, share an article that's relevant to their work, and maybe tag a few of those people. Send a genuine DM to someone on the team, not just asking for a job, but asking a smart question about their work to show your interest. This is a good example of an outreach message I've sent over LinkedIn. This is not just me saying, hey, can you refer me? This is, I noticed that you are working on whatever, and I'm really interested in this problem because of my specific background, and I would love to hear your perspective. When you do this, something magical happens. When your application lands in the system, you're not just a random resume anymore. You are that person who asked the thoughtful question. You are that person whose name the hiring manager has seen before. Step 5, after you apply, create content about why you're excited about that company or that problem space. If you are applying to a company working on climate tech, post about why climate tech matters to you. If you're applying to a fintech company, share your thoughts on the future of financial systems. The point of this is to make your application part of a bigger narrative about what you care about so that there's information for those hiring managers and recruiters to look back on when they see your name. I know what some of you are probably thinking. This sounds like so much work for just one application. And you're right. It is. But let me ask you this. Would you rather send 200 applications that go nowhere or 20 applications where you actually have a shot because you've done the work to stand out? And I'm not guaranteeing that this strategy is going to work 20 out of 20 times. You might do all this work and still not get the role. That's the reality of this job market. When you take this approach, you're not just applying for a job, you are building relationships. Even if company number 3 on your list doesn't hire you, the person you connected with there might refer you somewhere else. The content you created might catch the attention of a recruiter at a different company. Everything ends up compounding over time. Now, the third shift that you have to adopt is a shift in how you approach LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn profile is now more important than your resume. And I'm not even exaggerating here because in this market, the people who are getting jobs are the people who have built visibility and credibility before they need it. Let me explain what is happening behind the scenes first. Recruiters are not sitting around reading through hundreds of applications anymore. They are searching LinkedIn for specific keywords and people whose profiles have those specific keywords. So here's the 3-part LinkedIn strategy for this job market. First is to optimize your profile like it's a landing page, not a resume. Your headline shouldn't be seeking data analyst opportunities. Instead, you can do something like data analyst, a delimiter like a vertical bar, turning messy data sets into actionable insights with Python and SQL, and then passionate about climate tech. The second one tells me exactly what you do, how you do it, and what you care about. It's searchable, it's also interesting, and it makes me want to click on it. Okay, part 2, and I've already talked about this briefly in the other tips, is to create content consistently. I know that you think you don't have anything to say. You're not an expert yet. You're still learning. That's exactly why you should be posting. The content that is performing best right now on LinkedIn is not from thought leaders and executives like you might think. It's people who are documenting what they're learning. It's junior developers who are sharing how they debugged something. It's career switchers talking about the challenges that they're facing. So here's your content formula. Post 2 to 3 times per week. Each post should be one of 3 types. So first is learning in public. Here's what I learned while building this project, or I just figured out how to solve X problem. Here's my process. 2 is curated insights. Share an article or tool that you found useful and add your take on why it matters. And then 3 is sharing a behind the scenes look. Document your job search journey, your skill building, the lessons you've learned, your wins as well as your struggles. The goal here is not to go viral. The goal is to show up consistently enough that when recruiters are searching for someone with your skills, your name keeps appearing. So when hiring managers in your network need somebody, they think of you first. And then part 3 in this strategy is to engage strategically, not randomly. This is where most people mess up. They think that engagement means liking random posts, dropping 2-word comments like great insight, or just reposting something from a large creator who created like a viral hit. No, strategic engagement means following people who work at your target 20 companies, commenting thoughtfully on posts from hiring managers and recruiters in your field, joining relevant conversations where you can actually add value. I am talking about spending 15 to 20 minutes a day engaging in a way that makes you memorable. So look at the difference between these 2 comments. The first one is something super generic. It's not going to make you memorable at all. The second one will actually make you stand out because it shows your thought process. It shows that you have solved relevant problems and that you care about what's going on in the industry. Now, I would know because I have a steady stream of recruiters in my LinkedIn inbox finding me through my posts and comments and asking me if I'm looking for a job. And I haven't applied to any jobs in years, but they are still constantly reaching out to me to take their roles, all because I am a name that keeps popping up on their radars. And that is the power of strategic LinkedIn presence in this job market. Now, if you want this complete framework for how to build this kind of LinkedIn presence, the exact content templates I use, the engagement strategy, how to optimize every single section of your profile, I have a downloadable guide called 30 Days to More Interviews, the LinkedIn Job Search Guide. The link is in the description if you want to go deeper on that. I know you're probably tired of hearing advice when you needed a job like yesterday, but this is what I have learned after helping thousands of people navigate career transitions through the power of LinkedIn. People who survive these types of market shifts aren't the people with the perfect resume. They're the people who can adapt their strategy to match the current reality. So I'll be talking a lot more about exactly how to do this in upcoming videos and in my newsletter, which is also linked in the description below. So make sure you subscribe there too, and I will see you guys there.